Sir, your voice is very low, sir.
Now tell me, is it clear? Oh, okay, cool. I think you are able to hear. Yeah, cool. So, okay, let me start from first. So, till now in the last class, we have discussed about stacks, right? What is the stack data structure? What are the problems involved in the stacks, and what type of, problems we can solve. So now we are going with the queue. So what is queue? Queue is nothing but a data structure which follows the first in first out order principle. That means whoever comes to the first, it will follow the that order only. That means it will serve to that one. So in real time example, any bank application, if you go, I mean any bank you go, you will follow the queue, and for the persons whoever comes first, the bank will serve to them first, and it will leave. I mean for the last person, it is last. So how it will be useful in our software industry? So if you are going for the any if you know about the OS algorithms, scheduling algorithms, whatever the operations you perform, the actions will be performed based on the FIFO only. Like it will follow different algorithms. They will follow round robin algorithm, priority queue algorithm, FIFO algorithm. I mean priority queues and queues, many algorithms it will follow. Among them, queue is also one of the concept. So in the FIFO, what happens is in the scheduling algorithms, whatever the process that has been occurred, that will be entered into the queue, and in the based on the queue, whoever comes first, this process will be scheduled first, so that it will be executed in the first. So the difference between the stacks and queue is removing. In stack we can remove the item most recently added. In the queue we can remove the item least recently added. Got it? Instead of last person, we will remove first person itself. So if you see this diagram, insertion and deletion happen on different ends. Suppose if you see the stack, insertion will be done from the same end and deletion will be done at the same end. That means we will insert to the end of the stack, and until it is not empty, we will fill that one. Once it is filled, when we are popping that element from the same end, last element will pop. But whereas in the queues, we will insert from one end, that process is nothing but enqueue. The insertion of the elements in the queue is nothing but enqueue, and the deletion of the elements from the queue is nothing but dequeue. So we will use two pointers, front and rear. Okay. Next, mainly the following four basic operations are performed on the queue. That is enqueue, adding the elements; dequeue, removing the elements; and front. It will gives the front part of the element, and rear is nothing but back part of the queue. Next, applications of queue. Sorry, applications of queue. Queue is used when things don't have to be processed immediately, but have to be processed in the first in first out. So when we use the queues concept means, suppose we will have round robin algorithm also in the processing. Why then? What is the use of the queues? So we need the process to be done, but not immediately. They can wait some time. Then we will use the queue operation. That means they can wait in the queue until the next operations, immediate, I mean high priority operations are done. So they will wait in the queue. When the resource is shared among multiple consumers, example include CPU scheduling and disk scheduling. When data is transferred asynchronously, the data not necessarily received at the same rate as sent. That means, suppose if you sent if you sent a message or any file, so if you are having high internet speed and high performing CPU, that will be performed immediately in your system, but it is not I mean mandatory to reach to the destination file based on the RAM and CPU scheduling algorithms. That can be prioritized on the receiver end. Okay. Next one, I will show you in Java also how we will use queues, and how we are. I mean, if you want to design the internal structure of the queue, how we will do in the C and Java, we will discuss into that also. When any element is inserted in a linear queue, then rear will be increased by 1. That means whenever I insert element, the rear will be increased to next element. Let us assume after insertion operation, rear is shifted to the last position in the queue. Means, let me see 1 second. Is anyone? Okay. So let us assume after insertion operation, that means it will move to the right. So it means now queue is full. Now if a new element is inserted, then overflow condition will occur. That's right. Suppose if queue having the 5 size, if I try to insert the sixth element, then it will be overflow. Since the queue is full, we should say that it is full. If we don't say, and if it still goes on increasing, it will give index out of bound exception in if you use the arrays. If you don't use the dynamic, it will give that type of exception, and how we will handle, we'll see. So we'll see in the, I mean in the examples we'll see. Next is circular queue. Circular queue is a special type of queue in which last position and first position are assumed to adjacent position. That means 0 and 1. If you see here, sorry, 0 and 4. 0 and 4, this is the first position, this is last position. If you see here, both are at the same adjacent positions. It means circular queue first position after last position. That means whenever the last position comes, the next element immediately is nothing but circularly it is attached to the first position. Circular queue avoids wastage of spaces in the regular queue. That means if you take the linear data structure that like arrays, if it goes to the last element, you may in the worry, if you don't handle that exception, it will cause the overflow. Whereas if you use the circular linked list, circular queue, it will say that whenever it reaches that end of the list, the next element will be again the starting element, right? Starting index. So we can check only one condition. If last equal to first, then the list is the queue is full. Like that we can say that. Let me show you how we will implement that one. Let me take one more example. Okay, let me take this one. So if you see, this is array list. We have, I mean, we have linked list, right, in our data structure. In order to implement linked list in the Java, we have array list, also one of the class which we can use. If you want to use queue, so queue in the Java, if you it comes to queue, queue will be under what is that? One of this interface called set. I mean, sorry, queue. So in order to implement this one, queue, sure. See what is the error? Okay, java.util.queue. Queue is an interface. We cannot. Okay, yeah. So queue, since queue is an interface, so by using priority queue, we can, I mean, queue is an interface. So in order to implement the queue concept, we can use the priority queue. If you give any priority, it will be act as an, I mean, it will be scheduled first. Otherwise, if you don't give any priority, then it will be act as same level. So whatever comes first, it will take that element first. So in this Java, by simply declaring this one, we can create the data structure of priority queue, and we can use the p dot insert. We'll give the method c p dot add. So if I add one, it will be added to the this p. That means it this queue. Like this, we can use the queues in the data structure like this. In the same way, Python also we can use that type of facility. I mean, we will be having that type of facility. So one more, I mean, one of the problem we'll discuss is implement the stack using two queues, Q1 and Q2. So by using queues, how we can implement the stack? We'll see that one. Method, by making the push operation, that means every time when we get that one, we need to push that into the queue. That is costless operation. We'll see how it will be. This method makes sure that newly entered element is always at the front of the Q1. That means since we need to delete from the front, I mean one end, I mean we need to insert from one end, we need to delete from one end, right? So we will insert from rear and we will delete from front, so that whenever one element is inserted, it will make sure that it is pointing to that first element only. So that pop operation just dequeues from the Q1 and Q2 is used to put every new, that means every time whenever we push that element, it is making the costliest operations, because when we are implementing stacks using queue, it will be inserted from one end. So in order to delete the last come first one, we need to maintain that pointer. So if you see here, push s comma x, operation steps are described below. Enq of x to the q2. That means in the q2, I mean the second queue, we are inserting the queue. One by one, dq everything from the q1 and nq to tq. That means from q initially into the q1 we inserted everything, and we are pushing the all the elements from q1 to q2, so that whenever I am popping these elements, I can achieve that last in first out principle, because it comes as first in first out principle, right? Whenever I am deleting element, it will delete the let me take an example and show you. If you see here, so let us say I have queue here 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. So this is queue. That means whatever first comes, that will be deleted first, right? So in the queue, what is the first element? This is the first element, right? So we cannot achieve stacks operation directly, because last in should be first out. So whereas here it is going like this. So what we will do, we will take one more what is that, second. Okay, one more queue same like this one. So after that we will insert in reverse order, so that the whenever we are fetching the elements, that will be removed from first in, I mean last in first out principle. Operations of function are described below. DQ as DQ an item from Q1 and return it. This is what he's saying. This is most costliest operation, because we need to push into Q1 and pop into the Q2. This will take much time. Check if a queue can be sorted into another queue. Okay, using a stack. By using a stack. Okay, it's the previous. Okay, sorry. Okay, check if a queue can be sorted into another queue using a stack. So what is the problem statement is saying is, we need to sort the queue elements in another queue by using one of the stack. By using one stack. How can we do this? So can anyone have idea? So you can see here. So what we are doing. So we'll see this one. After that, I will ask for your ideas. So given a queue consisting of n natural numbers, that is in random way, the task is to check whether the given queue elements can be arranged in increasing order, that means ascending order, in another queue using the stack. The operation are allowed: push and pop elements from the stack. Pop, that means NQ and pop or NQ from the given queue, and push, that is DQ. It is reversely given. Pop means, push means NQ, pop means DQ. So we'll see how we can achieve. So suppose if we take the input 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, output is yes, because pop the first element of the given queue, that is 5, and push the 5 into the stack. So we insert it into 5. Now pop all the elements of the given queue and push them into the second queue. Now, so what he is saying is, initially, let us take this one sideway. So he said that, let me take one more table. So, one second, guys. Yeah. Okay. Let us see this one. So let me keep it over here. This one also. Okay. So this is one queue and that is stack. So we are having elements like 5, comma 1, comma 2, comma 3, comma 4. We'll see how we can see. What he said, pop the first element. Okay. Keep in this way. Okay. So what is saying, pop the first element of the given queue. So I have taken 5 and push into the stack. So I have inserted into this one 5. Okay. Now pop the all elements of the given queue and push them to the second queue. Okay. Let me take this is, assume that this is queue, and so remaining elements I'm pushing into this one 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Okay, remaining elements I pushed into this one. Now pop the element 5 in the stack and push it into the second queue. That means I have popped this one and pushed into this one. Sorry, 5. So I can remove over here. In this scenario, this is the one, because 5 only the one. If you take the second one, input is 5, 1, 2, 6, 3, 4. This is also random. Push the 5 to the stack. Okay, let me push this one to stack. This is nothing but 5, 1, 2, 6, 3, 4. Okay, cool. Let me take this also. Okay, So I have taken this from queue and I have inserted in this one, and pop 1 2 from the given queue. Okay, 1 2 I'm popping from here and putting in the second queue. Okay, pop 6 from the given queue and push to the stack. So here also I have kept this one. Pop 3 comma 4 over here. Now by using the any of the above operations, we cannot push 5 so into the second queue because it is below 6. If you see here, this is below 6. So like this, for this algorithm we cannot sort the one queue by using the another stack, another stack. So now we will see what is the solution to solve this one. This is what inputs given for this one, yes, for this one no, because by using stacks we cannot, one stack we cannot do that one. Let me see into the solution. First, initialize an expected element to be 1. Check if either the front element of the given queue or top element of the stack have expected element. So make sure that front and top of the stack should be same. If yes, increment expected element by 1 and repeat the step 2. Else pop the front of the queue and push into the stack. If popped element is greater than the top of the stack, then return no. That means what he is saying is, if you consider the queue, like if you in the above example, if you consider 5 1 2 3 4 is there, expected element is 1, so it is not expected element. That's why what we are doing, we are popping out the 5 from the queue and pushing into the stack. Next, if the like this we will do for the entire queue. If it is expected one, suppose if we take the after popping out the, I mean after dequeuing the 5 from the initial queue, the next element will be 1, so expected also 1. So since both are same, we will push into the second queue, and next after that we will increment this expected, and second element is 2. Since both are again matched, we will push it this into the second queue, and again the expected is incremented, that is 3. Again the next element also 3. Like this we will push until the expected matches. When there is a condition we fail, otherwise the queue is empty, we will go to this one stack, and we'll see that whether the end of the element in the second queue and top of the element, we'll check that if it is greater than that one, we will immediately push that one. Otherwise, I mean in the stack also we will check if there is any greater element, I mean lesser element which is present under the stack, like 6 5. 5 is less than less element only, but 6 is greater. If we pop from the stack, we'll get the 6. So in this case it is not possible. So if it is not like that, we will pop that 5 also and we will insert into the next second queue, and we can make we can say that it is true. Like that we will repeat this operation. Is it clear for everyone?
And we can use also this method of popping the elements from the queue
Yeah,
and making taking the after popping the first element from the queue, we'll make it as a max is considered just for temporarily. We are considering max as that element.
hmm. Yeah,
And after popping the second element, if we check like if it is less than element,
yeah, we'll
we'll
check that one.
store in the we'll store in that stack like that. If not, we
Each
will
we should check
interchange
two
the
conditions. It should match the expected element and it should not be greater than that queue element, sorry, stack element, whatever we inserted
yes,
previously.
yes, sir.
Yeah, clear, or do you have any doubts?
Clear, sir.
Yeah, okay. Anyone having questions here? Okay, next element, sorry, next question. Given an algorithm for reversing a queue, okay, only following standard operations are allowed. He's saying that we can reverse the queue in many ways, but he's saying that you should use only the three operations, that is enqueue, dequeue, and empty. So 10 20 30 these are given, so we need to reverse this one by using only enqueue and dequeue operations. We'll see how we will do. Okay, this will be two-step process. Pop the element from the queue and insert into the stack. Okay, topmost element of the stack in the last. Okay, pop the elements of the stack to insert back into the queue. That means if you take the queue, suppose it is having 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, like this. First we will pop the element. So first element will be this one, right? So this will be popped and we will put it in the stack. Okay, and after that we will pop all these elements 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, right? After that, what we will do, by using the stack stop operation, we will insert them directly over here. In that way, last in first out principle, right? This is, so 50 will come first, 40, 30, this will be 20, this will be 10, like this. Is it understand? Two-way process only. Like first we will pop all the elements from queue and put it in the stack. Since it is last in first out principle, 50 will come first and we will insert back again. Is it clear? Is it clear for everyone?
Yes, yes sir.
Cool. Okay. So remaining guys, do you have any questions or not? Is this Aishwarya, Akhil, Anjali, you guys present?
Yes, sir. Clear, sir.
Okay, cool. Clear. Okay. Next question. Reversing the first k elements of the queue. So you will be given a queue and he will be saying the k elements should be reversed. So how can we achieve this one? So given a integer k and a queue of integers, we need to reverse the order of the first k elements of the queue, leaving other elements should be same in the relative order. That means if I have 10 elements, if I say 5, the first 5 elements should be in reverse order. That means 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That should be like that. I mean, queue should be like that. How we can achieve this one? So we need to use only 4 operations. That means enqueue, that means inserting, dequeue, deleting, size, and front. So how can we achieve that? Anyone? Any solution from you guys? So till now we have seen what are the stack operations and queue operations also. So we are using the same operations. I want to achieve this one. So how can we do this?
Sir, in Java, is there an option called split, like how we split the array?
Array, we have that operation. Yeah.
In for queue.
In queue?
For queue, that type of option is there. Is it there?
Let me check. So Control Z. P dot. What type of operation you want? You want to divide it into queue or
divide
what?
into two. Divide into two queues.
Okay, divide into 2 queues. Let me check that one. Add all comparator contains element for each iterator, peak, hold, remove all, size. Split iterator is there, so it will split the elements and iterate over them. Let me check what is this method actually. What else we have? Okay, so let me check split iterator, what it will do. Okay, split iterator is not splitting this one. So when we have the two queues, then it will be used. So we don't have such type of mechanism to split the queue.
Okay.
So maybe in other languages we'll be having, but by using these 4 operations, can we achieve?
Sir, in the same problem, can we use 2 queues?
Yeah, use it.
Okay, sir. So if we use 2 queues, first we'll find the size, sir. And we'll get the n element and k, sir, integer k value. So from till k value, we'll pop those values.
Okay.
And arrange them and sort it into the second queue.
Okay.
After sorting and
it is not sorting, reverse. Okay, yeah, continue.
Reversing and doing, we can insert add at the position is there, no, sir?
Yeah.
So using that function, we can insert the elements into the first queue itself at that position in the reverse order.
Okay. Okay.
Then the only first k elements will be after traversing. We are reversing and inserting again means it will become reverse motion. Only k elements.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. That approach. Okay. We'll see. So Ramesh, what about your approach? Can you turn on your mic and explain to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Tell me.
Sir, here we can just push elements till kth element into a stack, sir.
Stack. Okay.
And the remaining elements from the first queue, we can just insert them to Q2. After it's done, we just pop the elements from stack, sir, and insert them into Q1.
According to yours, it will be second queue will be 10, 9, 8, 7. Sorry. It will be like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. But I should. I need to have 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Yes, sir. In the stacks we will be having 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, sir.
Correct. Correct.
From top to bottom.
Okay.
Now we can just pop those elements from stack into the Q1.
Okay, got it. So first you will put it in the stack, and in the second queue you will put it in the reverse order, and after that remaining elements you will keep in the second queue.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, cool. Both will work. We'll see. Any other approach, guys? Okay. Let's get into the solution. So this is 1, 10, 20, 30, 40. If it is 1, we need to reverse like this. Get into the solution. Okay. The idea is to use auxiliary stack. So we'll see what is that. Create an empty stack. That is what you guys also using. One by one, dequeue the items from the given queue and push to the dequeued items to the stack. Yeah. Enqueue the contents of the stack at the back of the queue. Okay, that's what. So whatever the elements you till now dequeued, we will be enqueuing it. That means again we are inserting it. Next, dequeue size minus k elements from the front and enqueue them one by one in the same queue. So here, instead of using one more queue, what he has done is he just used only one stack. What he has done, I will tell. So if we take 10, 20, 30, 40, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. Let's assume these are the elements. So if I say 4, he has inserted 10, 20, 30, 40, up to 40 he has inserted and he popped it out. Okay. Okay. In that case, what happens is it will enter into like this. It will come 50, 60, 70, 80. This will be removed. This will be removed. This will be removed. This, I mean, removed means in the nothing but it will come as a friend to be deleted. So after that, what he is saying is insert this element into the queue. So since we are inserting, it will follow the first come first serve, right? So first two elements are here. So 40 will be over here, 30 will be over here, 20 will be over here, and 10 will be over here. Again, what he is doing, he is removing this 50. So once if I remove 50, these all elements will come down, right? If I remove 50, one space will be at this position. Agree or not? Sorry. So this 50 he want to insert over here. This became 10. This became 20. This became 30. This became 40. This is 80. This is 70. This is 60. So 50 came over there. Got it. Now insert. Okay, you got it, right? So next what he has done, again he will remove 60 and he will keep it in the end. Again he will 70, 40, 80 also until he reaches the size minus k, so that he can achieve this one by using only one queue and one stack. Is it clear for everyone? Hope it's pretty clear. Okay, next question. So we are given an integer n. We need to write a program to find the least positive integer x made up of only digits 9s and zeros such that x is a multiple of n. So what he's saying, we are given an integer n, we need to write a program to find the least positive integer x made up of only digits 9s and zeros. So least positive integers which should be formed with zeros and 9s we need to form such that x is multiple of n. Okay, suppose n equal to 5, output equal to 90, because we need to form the x with only digit 9s and zeros. So 90 is the one which is multiple of 5, and at the same time which is the least possible element. Is it correct or not? So in the same way, if we give 7, so what is the least possible element which will be divide by 7, at the same time which will be least positive integer with a combination of 9s and zeros? 9007. So any approach from you guys? What do you guys think? How can we solve this? It should be 9s and zeros combination. It should be divisible by n. How can we do?
Sir, we can use a for loop
Hmm.
where the condition will be that the number which we are creating,
Hmm.
that number modulo n should be equal to 0,
Okay.
and n equal to 9 percentile.
Okay.
So that will be like 9 will be the starting integer, and the number of zeros will be increasing.
Okay, correct. Hmm.
And we can keep, as for adding, I'm not getting a solution, sir. The condition that I want.
Okay, cool. No issues. Anyone else? Anyone? Okay, no issues.
For
Yeah.
n is equal to 3,
Hmm.
it should be 9, right?
Correct.
So first, for the given value n, we try with 9, sir.
Hmm.
If it is not, then we go for 90, then 99 like that one.
Okay, how many digits you will go like that? How many length you will go if I give 100?
There should be one.
Yeah, like that will be like brute force approach. We will do all the scenarios. We'll see. So the idea is to solve the problem to generate and store all of the numbers which can be formed using zeros and 9s. Then find the smallest number among the generated numbers which is divisible by n. We will use the method of generating binary numbers to generate all the numbers which can be formed by using zeros and 9s. We'll see how. So it is not given. So what he's telling is, so like you said, brute force approach, he is also generating all the combinations. Like the idea is to solve the problem to generate and store all the numbers which are formed using the digits 0 and 9, right? So then find the smallest number among them and which is also divisible by. So what he is saying is, so if it is okay, wait, generate and store all the numbers which can be formed using zeros and 9. Okay, so we will use the method of generating binary numbers to generate all the numbers. Binary numbers which can be formed using zeros and 9s. Okay, yeah. According to him, what he is saying is, so first he know the n, what is the value to divide, right? So in the same way how someone said using the 9 and next we'll go with the 0 combination. So first he is storing all such combinations first. Okay, 9-0 combinations he is storing first. Okay, and he let me check the end condition. The value of x should not exceed 10 power 6. That means the value should be between 9999, I mean 4 nines only. He has given a restriction of 10 power 6. It should not exceed 10 power 6. So what is the 10 power 6? 1 lakh, right? so it should not exceed 5 nines. So with that combination, what he is doing is he knows that limit. Now he is generating the such combinations which can be while each time he is generating the such combination, he's checking, he's storing it in a queue or somewhere, and after that he is, after popping out each element, he is checking whether it is divisible by that element or not. And after he can do the sorting operation also there, and after doing sorting he can check that whether it is the divisible by that n or not. Like that we can take the combinations. You guys know that permutations, how can we get the permutations? So in the same way we can get the different permutations of the these zeros and nines. Like that we can achieve. Next problem, given a stream of characters and we have to find the first non-repeating characters. Okay, each time a character is inserted to the stream. Okay, let us see. Input is a b c, so output is a one time, b what is this, 1 second. Given a stream of characters and we have to find first non-repeating character each time a character is inserted to the stream. Okay, a b c. So when I see this one, a is repeated once. Okay, so whenever it is repeated once, he want to print that that number. So a is repeated once, b is not repeated, and I think instead of c he has given b. Okay, we see. Okay, that's what. So even in if you take the second example, a is repeated once, c is not repeated. So let me see the solution. So create a count of array size 26, because we know that alphabets are 26 only. Okay, create a queue of character data type. So whatever the time and space complexity of the previous problem, he is not given any restriction for the space and time complexity for the problem. If such questions exist, they will not give time complexity. If they give time complexity, then they will restrict you to for the 4-digit or 3-digit, like that they will restrict. He doesn't give any time complexity, and he doesn't even given the length, how much length should be. Next, create a count of size 26. That means we know that alphabets 26, that's why he created a 26 array size. Create a queue of character data type. We will be creating a queue of character data type. Store each character in the queue and increase its frequency. That is nothing but we can achieve through maps also. What he is saying is, let me read out these statements and let me explain through the example. Store each character in the queue and increasing its frequency in hash array. For every character of the stream, we check front of the queue. If the frequency of the character at the front of the queue is 1, then that will be the first non-repeating character. Else if the frequency is more than 1, then we pop that element, and if the queue become empty, that means there are no non-repeating characters, so we'll print -1. Okay, so let me tell that what he is telling. So we will be taking a b c d. Let us assume that we'll be having no elements, a b c d e f and so on up to z. Okay, while inserting these elements, he want us to store this frequency. When I say input equal to a b b c, so when I say a, in the frequency map, first it will be 1, again a came, so it will be 2, next b came, so b frequency will be 1, next c will be came, so c frequency will be 1. Okay, next again b came, again b value will be incremented. Like that he's storing the frequency of the characters in the 26 array by using the hash, so that whenever he will be getting duplicate element, he is incrementing that value. After incrementing that value, he's dequeuing the elements from the start, and he's printing that whenever he's encountering an element which is having only 1 as the frequency, then that is the first element which is not at all repeated in the given string. So, and he will goes like that. He will reach end of the queue. So if it doesn't find any element like with having, suppose if all the elements given in the input having the more than one frequency, he will print the output as -1. Otherwise, if he encountered anywhere else with the 1, then he will print that element. That's it. Is it clear? Suppose in this element, if we having the 3 frequency, then in this entire queue we will be having no 1. That means every element in the given string is repeated more than once. That means we will print the output as -1. Otherwise, if we have any element which is having 1 as the frequency, while iterating through this queue, we can see that here is the 1 present in the queue. So that whatever may be the frequency of this one, so we are going in the order A, B, C, right? So if you see this one, when we get the C value, it will be 1. So C is the one which is non-repeated element, which is character which is present in the given input. Is it clear? So we can achieve this one using the Java simply by hash map or map. So I can say that map character comma integer. So if there are no repeated elements, then we will print -1. Oh, there are no repeated elements. I mean duplicate. I mean everything is unique. Then whatever the first element which is non-repeated, that you will print. Suppose A, B, C, D, E. There is nothing repeated. Then you will print A simply. Okay, that's what. So if you use the maps, so Control Shift O. Okay, this is new. Okay, so map dot, we will check that first. If condition, if map dot contains key, what it will do, contains key, it will check whether the coming element is, suppose let us take an example A. If it is containing this element, what it will say means map dot put map dot get key of A, comma map dot get value map dot get value. So we'll get the value of that one plus 1, we will increment. Otherwise, if we don't have that element, in the else condition, what will print map dot put that character and the value will be 1. So like this, until this reaches, we will print all the elements. If it is containing, we will increment the value. Otherwise, we will keep it as 1. So after completing this one in the loop, so what we will do, we will check that if any element having greater frequency, then we will print that element is having character more than that. But in the sample, that was input, I mean output is given wrong, so don't mind about that one. Okay, so
Sir, instead
yeah,
of mapping using maps, we can use queue and array, no, sir.
of course we can use.
While dequeuing each element, we'll
We can
store the
store that in
count.
the, yeah, we can do that also. But map will provide key value pairs. That's why I'm explaining this one. But definitely we will use queues and arrays also. That's also, yeah. Even in the here also he said that we need to use one more hash array frequent to store the frequency while dequeuing the all elements. We can do that. Yeah,
So,
we may have 26 keys. Yeah, ABCDs are up to 26 only, right? Even though you have 26 keys, it will store up to 26 only. Your array will not exceed 26. Since alphabets are 26 only, it will be constant, order of k only, order of 26 only. It will not more time, it will not take much time. Got it? Yeah. So that's it for today's session, guys. So anyone have any doubts?
No doubt, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you guys. Thanks everyone.